Hey everyone, so if you just got the Ninja Crispi Air Fryer, I feel like it can be confusing at first, but in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to use the Ninja Crispi Air Fryer, okay? So the main thing with the Ninja Crispi Air Fryer is that instead of putting an air fryer basket into a traditional air fryer, it actually includes these two containers here. So you have the 6-quart container, which is over here, or you have the 4-quart container, which is right over here. And then you have the 6-cup container, glass container, which is included here. Now, in addition to that, it also includes, of course, the main unit, which is called the Ninja Crispi Power Pod. You also have the crisper plates, which are located here. So you get two different crisper plates right over here. You also have storage lids, one for each glass container right over here. And then you have the container adapter. So you're going to be using and taking off the container adapter depending on whether or not you're using the air fryer on the 4-quart container or the 6-cup container right over here. So for each of the pieces of the Ninja Crispi Air Fryer, this is the main air frying / heating unit. It's got a touch control panel up here up top where it's very simple to use. You just click on the start button, click on the mode button, and then by clicking on the mode button, you can cycle between the 4 different air frying modes. So there's a bake mode, air fryer mode, a re-crisp mode, and a max crisp mode. Then you can use the plus and minus dials to indicate how much time or what temperature you want to go ahead and air fry at. Now, like I mentioned, unlike a traditional air fryer, the Ninja Crispi Air Fryer is going to use glass containers. So these glass containers, where there's 2 included, it's going to be used for cooking, serving, and reheating food. So instead of having to transfer your food, everything happens all within these glass containers, which it also includes heat handles just in case the glass gets too hot. Now, the crisper plates, these are optional for when you want to use them, but basically it's going to elevate your food off of the glass surface so that it allows more airflow to crisp around the foods instead of just having your food directly onto the glass. So you have 2 crisper plates. One is for the 4-quart container, and then the other one is for the 6-cup container. And then next we have the 2 container lids. So one for the 4-quart and one for the 6-cup container. And then last but not least, you have the container adapter, which I mentioned before. You're going to be using it depending on whether you're using the power pod for the 4-cup or for the 6-cup container or the 4-quart container. So unlike a traditional air fryer, the Ninja Crispi, your food goes into these glass containers that you see back over here. So with these glass containers, they basically act as the air fryer basket. So again, it's optional to use the crisper plates within the basket. You can use the crisper plate if you want there to be more airflow around your food and you want the entirety of your food to be crisp or air fried. But then with the power pod, you can attach it directly onto, like right now I have the adapter not attached, but this is how it's going to sit on top of the actual glass container. So with it, you just plug it in, turn it on, and it's going to go ahead and start air frying. Now, if you do decide to use the 4-quart container, which is this one right over here, you do need to use the power or the adapter. And with the adapter, it just sits right on top. So the way that I know how to use the adapter is simply that the front of the air fryer goes with this little latch thing. So in order to remove it, you just pull it out by pressing on this latch over here, and then the adapter goes ahead and removes. The same concept as far as using it goes, just use the adapter, place it on the 4-quart, and then turn on the machine. So I'd say the main thing with the Ninja Crispi Air Fryer is that it removes the cooking flow of having to transfer your food from an air fryer basket to a glass container like this. I mean, just the other night while I was making salmon in my other air fryer, I had to remove the salmon from my traditional air fryer basket and transfer it to a glass container like this. With the Ninja Crispi Air Fryer, everything happens all within the glass container. So you can store food here, you can serve food from here, you can cook your food from here, and you can store your food from here as well, as if you end up having leftovers. This one here is good for family meals. Like let's say you're cooking for guests, you're cooking for your family. You have 2 options you just have different air frying modes. So you have the bake mode, air fry, re-crisp, and max crisp, which are good for leftovers. And then you have the temperature and timer control adjustments here on top, which you just press down plus or minus. Now, some common mistakes that people tend to do with their Ninja Crispi Air Fryer is really take advantage of the crisper plates. I think your food is just going to taste a lot better if you do go ahead and use these crisper plates so that airflow can actually circulate around your food instead of just your food touching directly onto the glass. In addition to that, everything is dishwasher safe. So you don't need to manually wash everything. You can throw this into the top rack of the dishwasher. You can throw the containers. You can throw the lids onto the top rack of the dishwasher as well. Another mistake that people might not keep note of is always make sure to use the handles. These are included. These are not detachable, so they do have to stay onto the glass container itself, but it really makes it easy. Like after you're done cooking with the Ninja Crisp Air Fryer, you can easily lift it up and serve your food portions. Now, another mistake that people have is do make sure that your power pod is directly in contact with the glass container or else it's not going to turn on. But make sure it's just fully contact. There's no opening spaces. And last but not least, make sure before you clean it, just have all the items actually cool down before you throw into the dishwasher or you start handling and such. So that's pretty much it though, as far as how to use the Ninja Crispi Air Fryer goes. I'd say the best way that you're going to learn is experimenting with different foods, experimenting what works with different temperatures and timers. But if you guys have any questions, let me know down below. In addition, you can find us also down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.